Thank you for joining us on Sheridan County Ag Update. With me today is my good friend, Emily Swinyer, who is the Sheridan County 4-H educator. Emily, thanks for being here.
You bet. Happy to be here.
We survived fair.
We did. And state fair.
Yes.
It's a marathon. So you have to just...
Especially when they're back to back.
Yes. And then you take a week off to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And remember,
I came back to work after my vacation to take a rest.
Yes, usually how that goes. But it's good to be back in a routine. The kids are all excited. Everybody's back in school. The new fall animal routine has started because things are different this time of year with 4-H and their projects. So.
Yes. Well, hey, I want to start out first just by acknowledging what a amazing community that we live in. With all the wildfires that have happened, they've affected you directly, your family. Many of our 4-H and FFA families throughout Sheridan, Johnson, up into Bighorn, Rosebud counties have been affected. And the amount of support that has been given is truly...
it's been overwhelming. It's been, you're navigating this. And this is something that like our family has never had to deal with this. I'm more like a tornado hurricane kind of a girl. And so this is a whole new level of anxiety, and which is my specialty. But it's been
wrangling the chaos.
Yeah, it's been hard, and it's been one of those you don't really know where to start. And a lot of the cultural piece here is not quite knowing how to ask for help. As far as like, where do you even begin? Do you begin by treating the animals that are injured? Do you begin by building fences? Do you begin by figuring out hay or how many to sell to be able to purchase enough hay that you need? So it's just been a lot of decisions and thought, but at the same time, you feel this overwhelming sense of love and support. Like if you need something, let me know. We had kids, other 4-H kids came last weekend and helped my children get hay. And they came out to the house and they stacked hay. They just showed up. And these are just other 4-H kids that are like, oh, you need this? Let us love on you. Let us help you. Yep. And that's what it's about. Well,
and so many of the parents who grew up in this program are now some of the ones who are facing the hardest times. Yeah. So I would just say for anybody who's looking to donate, right now, probably the biggest items that are needed is hay. For so many people, from cattle to horses, goats, sheep, everything. And you can kind of call MTR Ranch Supply in Buffalo. They are sort of, I guess, organizing the donations for the fencing supplies and the hay. Buffalo Livestock, what an amazing group of people. They stepped up immediately in evacuations, places for hay. I know that up in Montana, the stock growers put out that the cattle women up there, the Rosebud County cattle women, I believe, have a fund set up. So there's a lot of places to donate and a lot of help and a lot of need. On Facebook, there's the Wyoming Rancher Relief or Fire Relief Fund, I think it is. Yep. They have a lot going on. They have a place you can donate. They have some auctions going on. So please, they're everywhere, and it's going to be an overwhelming amount of help that's going to be needed. So
it is. Miles of fences.
Yes.
And, and that's one thing, like we were discussing, okay, so our calving pasture, our winter pasture, like there's no fence line there now, and it borders the railroad. Like you can't calve there now. And so it's something like, what do you do? And that's not something you can get done in a day.
No.
Either. And it's just... eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Yep.
Know that you're not alone. Take care of yourself and your mental health, and
ask for help.
Ask for help, which is something so many of us are not good at. I'm not good at it.
No.
But the kids they're just such advocates for each other, and to see that in them.
That's one of the 4-H's, isn't it? Helping hands.
It is. It's kind of one of our deals. So hands to larger service, and then. When you have kids and the ones that showed up, they don't live on ranches. They're kids from town here who are friends from school who are like, what do I need to wear? I'm like, wear long sleeves and bring gloves. And they did. And they were like, wow, these are heavy. You do this every day? My daughter's like, yeah, that's why I have guns.
I was saying to Ren's like, don't mess with me.
She's not. But they dug right in, and it's just been good. And it's a transitional time of year anyways with, their breeding projects. A lot of them, kids with beef are looking at projects. So it's just a time of a lot of changes and decision, but I guess it's better than it being in July.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. If it had to happen for this time of year, unfortunately, there were so many people that were getting ready to preg check
Exactly.
and ship and wean. And
like, how do you ship when your corral burnt down?
Exactly.
Like, what do you even do?
Exactly.
We don't know.
And the neighbor's corral burnt down. What are you going to do?
Yeah. So hopefully we can borrow a portable corral or get one built really quick.
We've got panels.
Okay.
Well, on to happier moments here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about county fair. We had a great county fair.
We did. And numbers were about the same. We had with our static, that was one that I always like to monitor the static entries. And it was down a little bit this year. We had a little over 300 entries, which we say is down, but that's still a ton of work by kids. That's basically we don't even have 300 kids in our program, and to have more than that many entries itself. And they were so diverse too. And everything from 3D printed items that are functional and useful to incredible art, and by members who have art being displayed at the governor's mansion. I mean, these are very talented youth. So it's really cool to get to see what they produce and bring and what they're interested in, because it's a way for us to kind of gauge our programming too. If I see that there's a lot of interest in a particular area, but I know that we haven't been able to offer classes in that or don't have leadership in that, I can maybe either learn it myself or recruit someone to teach classes, because obviously there's an interest. So that's just a gauge of almost like an informal needs assessment of our program. So I kind of like to follow where the interest is of the kids, because it changes. And so those are always a lot of fun. And then the livestock entries were good and healthy. And it's fun to see how they change every year. This year we added a pretty good sized breeding swine program. And that's been exciting to see that we have kids who are producing their own swine projects here in the county. That's exciting. The breeding sheep and breeding goat, those continue to grow. Breeding beef is huge. So it's just exciting to see them, because that level of commitment when you have that breeding program yourself as a 9, 10, 11, 14-year-old, it's a huge commitment. And it's not just during county fair, and it's not the few months prior. It's every day.
Day in, day out.
I got a really sweet, so we have a friend of ours who came up and spent the night. She graduated, but she was bringing some animals up to Sheridan and needed a place to crash. And the next morning was a school. Kids are up. The 12-year-old is up before me. And she sends me the sweetest text messages like, can I just say how proud I am of your kids? They woke me up to tell me they were going to do chores, and did I want to go help? Oh. And and they're just, and I was barely lucid when they and so, Ren went out and did her feed, and Mason did the hay, and they came back in, and she was impressed by their work ethic. And I hope that that's across the board with what 4-H produces for kids. We want them to know that this is how you make it happen. Hard work beats out every time.
I know one thing that we always hear disgruntle about is having to do the record books. And I remember having to do record books, but as I said, when you're an adult, you have to do taxes, and you don't want to do those either, but it's part of life. So this is part of your project. You're going to do your record book.
And technically they're not required in Wyoming. There are certain pieces that are required, like to participate in our youth livestock sale. It's an expectation that those are done. And then we offer really cool prizes and awards if you turn them in to be judged. So we do offer incentives and reasons for you to do them. You don't have to, but just like you don't have to do your taxes. If you,
but there's still a penalty somewhere.
There is. So there's always, that's life.
Well, and I think coming from the sales side of it, one of the things that we hear from the buyers, this isn't just us on the committee.
You're not being a big old meanie.
No, imagine, no. We hear from the buyers like, okay, we come and we support these kids. What are your expectations of them to be a part of your sale? And your record books, and as I personally don't look at the whole thing. I want to see basically your P&L, your financial statement. I want to make sure you understood what this project really cost.
Right. Did you make any money? Where did you spend your money? Were you surprised by expenses like vet care or things?
Exactly. And so those are the things that I like to see, that the kid came out of this learning something, and hopefully they made a profit. That's what it's all about. But we all know the livestock industry. But that came from our buyers, that they really felt that was an important piece of the follow through of it on the backside.
I 100% agree. And with kids at home that grumble about it, we still make sure it gets done because it's an important part of the completion of something.
Any of the kids that come to our house to keep their animals there, that is one of the deals that we make with them. And even our niece, who was a senior in high school when she did it, you will follow through and complete your record book. Even though you won't be selling next year, this is part of the deal when you come here to our house. You will complete that whole project. And
I hope that they love to look back on them. They're interesting to see. The growth, and if you had good years or bad years, and all the pictures that they put in them, almost kind of like a scrapbook. We like to look back at those pictures. Yes. They're pretty great.
Quality Kubota machinery and customer care from the heart. Proudly serving Sheridan and the surrounding area since 1996. Go online to heartlandkubota.com or stop by Heartland Kubota, 2450 Heartland Drive.
So we had a great county fair, and then a few days later, we headed off to state fair.
Yeah, there is no rest for the weary, because I think it was about a solid 3 days, 4 days.
Pretty much.
But, many of us take multiple trips down and haul multiple loads down, because you have all the animals, and then you also have all of their stuff. So, and then all the static exhibits. So we have a trailer, and I load it up and take every single qualifying static exhibit, which is
most of them down to state fair, and then set them all up to get judged again. And then all of the livestock are there, and all of their gear and the families. And it's a very different vibe at state fair. And I just, this year was so great. I was going to say this year things were a little bit different. We used to kind of have a thing in the beef barn where everybody kind of gathered, but Sheridan County, the number of entrants that go has grown so much. We had to
48.
We had to move.
We outgrew our space, which I feel like that's job security a little bit. And it speaks to the people and the adults and leaders who go, because we want it to be fun. We want it to be fun for the parents. Of course, it's exhausting, but we want them to, that is the big carrot in our house. It's like state fair, because state fair.
Well, in the first few years that we went, it was very much just the kids who had the livestock down there. But this year, a couple nights at some of the dinners that we would have, the horse kids came, and
the rabbit kids and dog kids.
Exactly. And it was so great to see our whole county together as one, and wanting to do that, and the kids wanting to support one another. I think I saw one of the horse kids who was like, "Oh, you need to go clean your pen? I'll go help you. Let's go."
Right.
And it was
very much a sense of community. Yes. And so the coolest thing, so they got that spot through the Blue and Gold Challenge, through the endowment for the Wyoming State Fair. So they raised this money, they won, they got this cool spot, and they had this huge tent between stock trailers, and it had basically a whole kitchen in there, and chairs, and we had porta-cools. It was nice in there. And it was a place that if your child was hungry, go get something to eat. If you need water, there's always cold drinks. Go get it, cool off, hang out with your friends. If you didn't know where a kid was, they're probably there.
Well, and I was going to say that was the great thing about it, is even if the parent wasn't there, still one of us adults knew where all the kids were at, or it was, well, go check the trailer. I haven't seen them here. They're probably over there, and there they were hanging out. So
right, taking naps on a fitting stand or something.
Yeah.
There's got the fitting pads there. Yeah. They're pretty comfy.
Yeah, apparently I didn't know the whole dragon egg thing, but I got educated by the kids on that down at the
We ended
on the
up with
Midway.
a few at
Yeah.
our house.
Yeah,
They're pretty cute though.
They were kind of cool. In fact, I mean, I didn't want to say, "Here, kids, here's some money, go get me one," but I thought that might be a little.
I mean, I did. I got like a really cool fidget thing because, as I said, I'm the master of anxiety, and so to have something to do with all of that angst, it's a really cool fidget. It's not frowned upon for me to have a toy as an adult.
So I do want to say that, this year as we went into county and state fair, unfortunately, we had two of our largest supporters of the program pass away.
Yeah.
And that was Arlen Tim and John West. And sorry, they were greatly missed.
It was something that, they'd been a part of it as long as I've been a part of 4-H, and they're just kind of like a landmark.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
John's been a part of it since I was the boys' age. So, and I've known Arlen since Haley was little. So,
well, and they live just down the road from us.
Yeah.
And boy, Arlen would come up and, I don't know, kind of like a mediocre rancher. And I'm always like, I have a calf, something's wrong. Arlen, help. And he'd show up and tube the calf, and
just be like, all right, it's all good.
And I'd put a fresh bottle of bloat treatment in their mailbox. Like, thanks for saving her life. It was always a no questions asked. How can I help?
Yeah.
I'm right here.
Yeah. So they were missed, but we know they were looking down.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Guiding from up there.
And probably laughing at us as we fumbled through it a little bit.
Absolutely.
That's all.
So, well, hey, the new 4-H year is about to start. So let's talk about how you can get involved. And it doesn't just have to be livestock.
No.
Look at all these exhibits.
Yeah. So the new 4-H year starts October 1st. And so when that rolls around, that's when all members need to re-enroll and volunteers can re-enroll or enroll for the first time. And it's all through Z Suite. So it's 4h.zsuite.org. Just kind of a weird, we're going to have links on all of our social media pages and stuff too. So Z Suite is where to register. It's always free to sign up for 4-H because we have amazing sponsors in Sheridan County. And so go in, sign up. You'll need to choose a club. We have 9 clubs now.
Wow.
I know. We have a club that meets in the middle of the day, and a lot of them are homeschool kids, and they meet at the extension office. So we have a new club. And then the other 8 that we had already established. So pick a club. We have 60 project areas in Wyoming. And then, of course, self-determined. So if it doesn't fit in any of those 60, which happens, you can just self-determined.
Make your own.
Make your own. And like I said earlier, I just kind of like to guide my project area focus on what kids are interested in because I want to know what they want to learn. So like last year's really big thing we did is I had several kids mention, hey, I want to do a babysitting class. So we did the successful sitter course, and that was wildly successful. We had 18 kids between the ages of 11 and 14, may have been a 15-year-old, complete the class. So for 18 kids to come 4 different classes consistently and finish it, we had guest speakers, we had all kinds of activities. They came away with a whole bag of gear and business cards and contracts and notebooks and they had. So, and then that program that we developed actually won the Western Region curriculum.
Oh, cool.
So I'm actually going to national conference in, I don't know, October for that. So that's going to be real fun. So I will develop curriculum for whatever you guys are interested in. And so I'm trying to kind of gauge it on what the interests are. So hopefully we'll be coming out with some fun workshops. We've done collages, we've done like reverse tie-dye, all kinds of wacky stuff, just so that kids can try new things that maybe they don't have the stuff. They want to try it. We can make that happen.
Quality Kubota machinery and customer care from the heart. Proudly serving Sheridan and the surrounding areas since 1996. Go online to heartlandkubota.com or stop by Heartland Kubota, 2450 Heartland Drive.
So if someone wants to get their kids enrolled, the Z Suite, when does that open?
So October 1st is when they'll need to enroll. If you do it now, it's just going to go away and you'll have to redo it after October 1st anyways. So love that you're excited, but you'll just have to do it again after October 1st. So you'll choose your club, choose your project, or more than one project, because there's all the shooting sports ones, there's all the animal ones, and then all of the static projects. Choose those and then keep a close watch on the newsletter, because right now, like this edition of the newsletter that just came out, this season of 4-H, we're not offering any classes yet. It's mostly club-based things, a lot of end of the 4-H year, beginning of a new 4-H year celebrations and parties and hanging out and meeting new people and welcoming new members. But also Achievement Day is coming up in October, and that's where we celebrate all of our leaders and members on their achievements throughout the year. So we recognize some shooting sports award, we recognize some livestock awards and champion record books, and that's just a great
and some
way.
of the community members who have been
absolutely
involved.
So we have the Friends of 4-H, and we have top sponsors and different things like that. We really like to spotlight all of the great successes from members and parents and the community members from the last year. So it's kind of it happens after the new 4-H year starts because there's too much chaos before it ends, but it's fine. It just rolls in there. So yeah, that's coming up. And
that's usually at the conclusion of 4-H week,
it is. So
remember?
There's National 4-H week, and then we have 4-H week here in Sheridan, and I make the Achievement Day is the last week of 4-H, the last capstone of the 4-H week here in Sheridan. So I try to do fun things, get people engaged on social media, posting all of their fun memories of 4-H and fair.
I like seeing some of those.
You know, we found a box.
I heard.
A box of pictures from the 90s.
I heard. Some of them showed up out at my house this summer, and I went, oh.
They're real good. And a lot of the people in those pictures are current volunteers and leaders. And some of the best ones, like Katie Hiller, was Katie Kaywood showing her cat. She's now the cat leader. It's just so funny.
And her child, Drew, shows cats.
It's funny how it all comes full circle.
Lacey Sell, who's the super.
With all of her critters. And then, of course, there's pictures of Chris Sorensen holding the gate at the swine show. He still holds the gate at the swine show 30 years later. So.
I liked 20, but 30's correct.
And sorry, my math ain't mathin' today.
It's okay.
I still think of 30 years ago as like 1970. So
yeah, our 30-year class reunion's next year. So yeah, I liked 20 better, but 30 is accurate.
But it's really fun to see because so many people who are involved in the program, like pictures of Dennis Nelson helping back then, he still is involved now. And pictures, like there was one posted last night of Justin West showing beef. Yeah, some things don't change.
And I was like, I'm going through the pictures and I'm telling Stuart, I'm like, oh, that's so-and-so. That's Dave Perry. I was going through and.
So maybe those will just resurface magically during 4-H
We
week.
could do a who's who, like a trivia.
The people are going to be mad at me.
Yeah, well.
It'll be fine.
They'll be mad at me. I gave you the idea.
I have broad shoulders at this point. We're good.
So you kind of touched on the shooting sports, but we have some members here who are on their way on a national trip.
So they won a trip to Raton, New Mexico, and so they are on their way right now to shoot. So we had 2 that qualified, and they're going down. So we have Faith Hinton, and pretty sure it's Will Edwards. Pretty sure, but I didn't get a text back to confirm, and I couldn't pick it up on my computer. So that's really exciting though, because they have to you have to be a senior member. You have to get X amount of points, and you have to declare that you even want those points to count towards your eligibility for the Raton trip. And it's a massive center down there, and that's what they do. And you shoot all kinds of firearms and try all different things. And
this isn't the first year. Like we've had members who
we have them every year.
Yeah,
every year.
This is kind of
you can only go once. So it's a once in a lifetime thing to qualify for. Whereas at nationals, when they go shoot in Grand Island, Nebraska,
Mm-hmm.
you can go multiple years. You can just only participate in that discipline that 1 year. So if you get
Okay.
air pistol, you can only
Mhm.
compete in air pistol one time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you qualified in muzzle loader, the next year you could go. But this is a one-time deal. It's through 4-H and our 4-H council. So any funds that go to like the general fund of 4-H, that money goes towards helping kids go towards these trips because, travel can be expensive,
Mm-hmm.
meals and things like that. So 4-H council provides money for their travel, as well as the Wyoming State 4-H Foundation.
Okay.
They provide some money towards that too. But if kids are wanting to get involved in things outside of Sheridan County at a regional or national level, we love to help support them. And so any kind of donation that goes towards our general fund
Mm-hmm.
either is going to go towards scholarships for like college, or it'll go towards scholarships for travel for these other kinds of opportunities.
Well, and you do have other, it's not just the shooting sports kids, but you've had kids from here livestock judging
Absolutely.
at Kansas City, at Denver, even at the Nile.
Mm-hmm.
You've had your meats judgers kids that they go to Laramie every year for
Yep.
the state. So you do have a pretty wide variety
They are
of
very
kids that
diverse.
they're representing throughout, not just Sheridan County, they're representing Sheridan County throughout the state, and they're going to national contests.
Yeah. And then we even had Morgan Kepley won a trip,
Mhm.
and she went on an international trip. And then we had a planning meeting this morning. We're sending kids to, I think it's Finland and Ireland. So no, not Ireland. It's Italy, the other eye.
Oh,
So it's very
Still cool.
very exciting. Like, I kind of want to be on this committee because
Mhm.
I want to go, but you have livestock, you don't get to travel
no.
unless it's to show the livestock.
Yeah.
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 It's a showcation.
You take your chores with you.
Yeah. It's all right though.
Well, what else have we got to talk about here with 4-H? I mean, there's always a ton, but we're
I
kind of in
know.
that transition spot right
Well,
now.
and this is a time too. So we always think that kids are buying their projects in the spring, but that's not true for all of them. Right now, our beef kids, it's shopping time.
We're headed to South Dakota.
Yeah,
with
they're
some
looking
kids.
for their projects because the beef project is, you buy them now.
Mhm.
And so really now is the time to be learning about selection, getting to know producers, and knowing what you're looking for in a project, because it is a long-term commitment
It is.
with lots of feed and things and bumps along the way. And so kids are out shopping right now, and we have some excellent producers here in Sheridan County that raise some fine livestock. So that's exciting for them. I mean, you guys are included. You've got your club calves. Gosh, I could think about probably a dozen here in Sheridan County.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, even real close in Johnson County.
and up in Montana too.
Mhm. We've already been looking. We already went out and looked. I mean, who's not going to look for a good heifer?
Always.
I
Feel that.
But I think that's part of the hard part with the beef project is it is such a long project.
Well, and you think so
Compared
much
to
can
your-
change too by the end. I know when we're looking for replacement does, one can look one way,
Mhm.
and then as it starts to grow and change, I love watching them in the grow out pen because you'll look at them and be like, man, that one's trash. And you'll come back
Mhm.
out and feed a few days later and you'll be like,
Where'd she
what's
come
she
from?
doing? And put her back in the keeper pen.
Mhm.
And so you have so much change and so much growth over the year. The beef project is really one to watch and pay attention to, and it's beef country.
Well, and if I remember correctly, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but this year in the market beef show, I believe there was 40 head, I want to say.
42, including market heifers.
Okay, and I want to say 2/3 of them were local producers.
yeah.
Came
How
from
wild
local.
is that they
Yeah,
were? They're not just being shown well. They also came from here.
Yes.
So.
And that's not just club calf producers. That
No.
is family ranches.
Absolutely.
The kids that are taking just the ranch beef.
Yeah,
that is-
commercial cattle absolutely have a place at
Absolutely.
the Sheridan County Fair. And so we want anybody who wants to show their animal, you are absolutely deserved to be there.
And
Bring it.
the judge, I remember her saying that it was so cool to see
Yeah.
that many bred and fed. And it's not just the first year this has happened. I mean, I can remember multiple years now that the judges
They
have
wouldn't even
said,
all fit in the ring.
No.
They wouldn't even all fit.
No. So it's pretty cool that, and even, the goats are becoming Sheridan County Pen of 5 down at State Fair was won by.
Not just that. We had Sheridan County had Pen of 5 goats, Pen of 5 steers, and Pen of 5 hogs.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. And the only reason we didn't have sheep is I don't think we had enough.
Yeah, we didn't have enough lambs down there.
But we could have swept it.
And our beef fitting team won the State Fair, the senior beef fitting
cool.
team.
Those kids rocked it. And they also can fit a mean goat because they came over and helped fit some goats over by the Gerzalka Swinyer camp.
But I was going to say the Pen of 5 goats was won by all.
Yeah.
It was all bred and fed goats from
cool.
Sheridan County between you guys and Gerzalka's. So
that was really cool because it was like it's theirs. It's years of work.
Yes.
It's,
I mean, not that the pigs and the beef weren't cool too, but I was super proud of the goats because they were from here.
Yeah.
So
it was pretty
congrats to everybody on that. That was awesome.
We need to get this Pen of 5 swine and the Pen of 5 beef banner because the other one's hanging in the office. They made sure it had.
I know where the Pen of 5 beef one
I
is.
need them hung up in the office because I want them on the wall.
Okay. I know where that one's at.
We can hang them on the wall.
Okay.
Be pretty cool.
I'll dig it out of the show box.
Dig it out. What else we got? So they're shopping. Enrollments, achievement coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do some leader trainings this fall. This is also like conference season too. So I'm traveling and, speaking at other things. So not a lot of that kind of programming happening yet. But as soon as I get back from conference, plus everybody's going to go elk hunting. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's kind of a lull.
A little bit. But it's good. It's a good time of restorative season for everybody as well.
Yes. Well, Emily, thank you for taking the time for being here today. Always a pleasure. Always fun. 4-H enrollment opens October 1st.
Yep.
So if you have any questions, be sure and call out at the extension office. Corey and Chandra and Emily will help you with any questions you might have, help you lead you through the process.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know I've had a few first-year members, well, how do we pick a club? And you guys can help with that.
It just kind of depends on what day of the week or month or time works best with your schedule. You can do any project in any club. So I know some areas have a horse club or a beef club. It's not that way in Sheridan County. You get to do anything in any of the clubs, which is really great because then it just fits with your schedule.
And it makes it well-rounded in your club.
Yeah, that's true.
But yes, call out there. They can help you. Facebook page. Usually all the info's on there, the newsletter. So be sure and check it out. And we appreciate you being here.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
You bet. For more news, sports, and podcasts, check out SheridanMedia.com.